Hi there, welcome back to IndyCar on the 8th of March. Now, it's been a while since you've seen me. I'm sorry for the absences, but Facebook has really got me this time. Although I'm back on the air, and I'm probably going to attract a very tiny audience for this particular program, I'm not really going to worry about that. When my Facebook page, which locked me out over the weekend, finally came back up, all of my 9,400 followers had disappeared. All of the hundreds of issues of IndyCar which are currently archived on the page's records have gone. My ratings have gone, and the 195 five-star reviews that I got have all gone as well. Virtually everything that I spent 10 years building up in this program page has now been effectively erased, and it's like taking a step back in time, 10 years. So this is like IndyCar starting over. Anyway, welcome back to the program. Today's topics are, well, an old chestnut, first of all, warships and warship building on the Clyde. The Ministry of Defence has, or a Ministry of Defence spokesperson who was too afraid to reveal their own name, has in a defence journal today claimed that in the event of independence that the United Kingdom would not be building any more warships in Scotland, despite the fact that billions of pounds have been invested in warship yards across Scotland. This is another piece of nonsense from the United Kingdom's Ministry of Defence, aimed at deterring us from voting to leave the Union. And it's just a rehash of what they said in 2014, basically that if we leave the United Kingdom, they're going to get the warships built somewhere else, except there isn't anywhere else. They could build their own warships in England, but that would take them years to do that. They can't go outside of the UK to build warships because they contain all kinds of top secret military equipment, including radar, missile systems, defensive systems, AI, and all the rest of it. And all of that is actually produced here, much of it in Scotland by companies like Thales and BAE Systems and Babcocks. So I think this is just another load of nonsense coming from the British Ministry of Defence. But it's not the only defence story that appears in the Unionist press today. The Telegraph carried an article claiming that the European Union might stop all military exports to the UK. Now, this is an interesting story. The European Union at the moment is in a situation where it is trying to ramp up the production of military hardware, weapons, stockpiles of ammunition and all the rest of it for very obvious reasons. They're worried about the Russian aggression spreading from Ukraine into the eastern flank of Europe and threatening the rest of the European Union. And because of that, they now have a policy, or debating a policy, whereby all weapons production and all weapons exports will be kept within the European Union to try to ramp this up as quickly as possible. The Telegraph is trying to characterise this as a ban on exporting military equipment to the UK, as though they were trying to isolate the United Kingdom and make us less able to defend ourselves. I think this is a huge stretch and a massive deflection from what the reality actually is. The United Kingdom is very well armed. It has a massive arms industry all by itself, as we know. And as I mentioned at the top of the programme, they manufacture a lot of their warships here, and a lot of their defence systems are made here as well. So I don't think this would actually bother the United Kingdom in any way. In fact, I'm not really aware of any great imports of European military equipment into the United Kingdom. In fact, most of it appears to be coming from the United States in the form of jet fighters, which we can barely afford, submarine-launched nuclear weapons of various types, which we can't really afford either, given the enormous amount of debt that the United Kingdom has accumulated over the last few decades. So I don't see that there's a problem with defending ourselves. The United Kingdom can always make or find money for buying or manufacturing weapons. So I don't think there's a problem with that at all. However, there is a problem for Douglas Ross, the rather isolated and weak and pathetic looking leader of the Scottish Tories, who, after basically prostrating himself in front of the Chancellor over the last few weeks, begging for him to exempt the Scottish oil and gas industry from his windfall tax has been completely humiliated. And all his pleas and his begging and his cajoling and his persuasion didn't work. The Tories are going to increase taxation on Scotland's oil and gas, no matter what Mr. Ross says. So again, a humiliating defeat for a rather pathetic leader who seems to be absolutely without any power at all. In fact, it doesn't really surprise me, because Douglas Ross's role is not to stand up to the United Kingdom in Scotland's favour, but to stand up to Scotland in the United Kingdom's favour. And all this play acting of trying to prevent the oil and gas industry from being taxed extra in the new windfall tax proposed by Jeremy Hunt is just nonsense. It's never ever going to happen, because the Tories are primarily a unionist party. Whatever London says we should do is what we have to do. So all of Ross's play acting is just that. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. I'm sorry this is a short program, and I realise that there's probably very, very few people watching this live stream. So those of you who are lucky enough to actually catch it this morning, please share it everywhere you can. At the moment, I have virtually no followers. I have virtually no reputation anymore. I have no 5-star rating. And so my program is basically isolated. Now, many people have asked me whether I think this is a deliberate act by Facebook. Well, as usual, there's plausible deniability. Nobody in Facebook is available for comment. And Facebook does not do anything to help you recover any lost data. And let's face it, IndyCar has got years and years of archived programs, hundreds of programs which have actually just been erased from the page by Facebook itself. Perhaps at some point in the future they might eventually get around to restoring that data to my page, but I wouldn't hold my breath. I think this was an attack on not only my page, but several other independent bloggers have also been hit in a similar way. This could well be Nick Clegg stepping things up now that he's the boss of Meta in the United Kingdom. Who knows, but, you know, we face an uphill battle. And as usual, we are fighting with not just one hand behind our backs, but now 2 hands tied behind our backs. And in my case, I've been forced to take a step back in time by 10 years to the point where this program originally started. And now I'm having to recover everything from scratch. So any help that my viewers can give me would be greatly appreciated by spreading this on every single social media that you can actually post it or upload to. And also contact all your friends who normally view these programs and pass on this information to them. I will be broadcasting again as usual from my page on a regular basis, and I'm hoping to build the audience back up to something like what it once was. Until last week, this particular program or this page was attracting over 61,000 views a month, and I had 9,500 regular followers and high numbers of views every single week. Now we're down to just a handful. So I need everybody to help as much as they can. If you value this channel and you value IndyCar at all, then do what you can to share this. I'll speak to you again later in the week, but in the meantime, keep the faith, and hopefully I'll be back again on Sunday with another program. IndyCar is not going to lie down and take this. I will continue for as long as is necessary. Other internet video bloggers have been hit as well. I know that some Ukrainian and pro-Ukrainian channels have also been wiped out in a similar fashion by YouTube and Facebook. So it's not a surprise to me that this has finally happened. It was inevitable that one day they would try and get me, and I think that has now happened. Anyway, I will see you later in the week. In the meantime, keep the faith, and remember, IndyCar is not dead. It's just resting. See you soon. Bye for now.